I left my toothbrush in the hotel room, so I had to buy a new one. Here I am on the seaside brushing my teeth. This is 10 Walks That Explain Everything. This is the second walk that explains the Netherlands, and I'm in Zeeland, one of my favourite places for going on holiday when we lived here. Zeeland really is a holiday park for the Netherlands. It's a place full of woods and sand dunes and long beaches, beautiful little towns. There's campsites galore, which the Dutch love, places to eat pancakes, which the Dutch love, and lovely little beach clubs dotted around. Just going up here, lots of cyclists going by. Of course, you rent them, you stick your dog in a trailer. I remember once having our dog in a trailer, our little dog, when we were in Terschelling, up in the Wadden Islands off the northern coast of the Netherlands, and she never stopped howling, bless her. She really didn't like it. But then again, she helped to drown out my son, who was busy singing endlessly for 2 or 3 days, show tunes from the musical Oliver. So, swings and roundabouts. These are the sand dunes that are part of the natural protection for the coastline. You see, they stretch along here, not actually allowed onto most of the sand, obviously, because that erodes it. They're held in place by pine forests, by shrubs, and they give a lovely natural vantage point, a bit of texture to the countryside. We loved walking in the dunes all along the Dutch coast. Fantastic place. And there's the sea, the North Sea. Not always the warmest to swim in, but it's a bit warmer here than it is up where I grew up in the northeast of England. Trouble here is that it's quite, the tides and the currents are quite strong because of all the islands and the estuary. Down the sand dune, and here we have, in all of its glory, the Dutch seaside. Look at the colour of that sand. It's fantastic, eh? And not crowded either. I live in Italy where so many beaches are just so crowded, and you look at this on a glorious day like this and you just want to walk along it, dip your toes in the water and have a look at a bit of miraculous engineering, and that's what I'm going to do today. You can just see the sweep of this enormous beach behind me, and off there, that direction over there, yep, you see an enormous feat of engineering, which we'll be looking at a bit later on in this walk. Basically, I'm going from Velterskoven, one of the islands in Zeeland, across what's called the Delta Works, which is the feat of engineering that I mentioned, and ending up in Vrouwenpolder, or Vrouwenpolder, probably, and that's on the other side of the Delta Works. Fittingly, this walk is dominated by the sea, because so much of the Netherlands is dominated by its relationship with the sea and with water. And that's what this particular walk is all about. It's all about fragility in a way. The Netherlands, a third of it is below sea level. It is in effect a delta. It's a small country, and if you think about it as a delta in the corner of Western Europe, where the continental river systems like the Maas and the Rhine empty themselves out into the North Sea. A lot of the land is reclaimed. A lot of it is very susceptible to flooding, inundation, not just from outside, but also from inside when those rivers are full, especially after the spring melts up in the mountains and the Alps. Now, if you go back a couple of thousand years, the Roman Empire reached its limit in northwestern Europe, not far north of here. It was an area not just of the rivers, but of marshes, unpredictable tides, of little islands, of paths that just disappeared. It was an area where, frankly, it was a borderland area. Borderland not between countries, although obviously the border of the empire, but between what was viable for man to live in. And women to live in, and nature. This is a very it's a very marginal place. Now, over the 2,000 years or so, up from that time to now, the Netherlands has really learned how to control nature, how to find a way to protect itself against the excesses of nature. And this is really going to be a theme of the whole of the 10 walks that I'm doing in this country, because it's not just a question of doing it now, it's a question of seeing what's ahead and looking at the dangers of things like climate change, of sea rises, sea level rises, what does that mean for the Netherlands, but also of things like extreme weather. Just get through this weird little obstacle. A country like Italy or China or Britain, things go wrong for a few generations and the country kind of falls apart a little bit, but nothing bad happens. There's still an Italy or a China or a Britain. The Netherlands, if things go wrong for a few generations, it ends up being washed out there into the North Sea. So, how do they do this? Well, there's a beach club up there. You see it? Now, one of the things about the beach clubs in the Netherlands is that people love to be there and they love to sit protected behind big glass protective screens. Nature is there, it's there to be enjoyed, but it's under control. It's not pushing you about, and that's exactly the way the Dutch like it. Sometimes if you're in the if you're in a lovely suburb of one of the big cities or one of the small towns, you'll find that all of the gardens are either in a state of absolute immaculate repair, where everything has been basically snipped with a set of little scissors, make sure it's exactly as they wanted, or alternatively just concreted over, paved over, and maybe a couple of little water features under control, of course, and maybe a little statue of a Buddha off in one corner. But if you lived in a country like this, as fragile as this, you can understand that fragility, that need to control nature. I'm now getting close to the edge of the delta works, the barrier itself. It's actually very loud. You can see out in the estuary, you can see the buoys with cormorants drying their wings on them, and the buoys are tethered, but they're all at an angle because of the strength of the outgoing water. I can hear the rushing of the water underneath the barrier, which I think will be with me most of the day as I cross it. And also I can see hundreds, and hear hundreds, the shrieks of hundreds of seabirds who are, well, the ones over there are actually diving into the water, which makes me feel as though they're terns, which are one of my favourite birds. But this is why I love walking in the Netherlands. You've got this enormous beach behind me. You've got this extraordinary barrier in front. You've got these wind turbines turning slowly behind us off in the distance. You've got the seabirds, you've got the water. It's a landscape full of drama. It's extraordinary. And it's not raining, which is always a nice thing.